Thank you. You may be seated.
All our other colleagues who are present, event represents our onward journey to a society that centralizes the power and privileges inherent in the rule of law, and a reaffirmation of our cooperative steadfastness to the ever-abiding credence of institutional continuity and sustainability. I stand here on behalf of the body of benchers to applaud the tenaciousness of purpose, the potency of a mutual allegiance, and an unswerving audacity which dates back to several decades. The benchers complex, which had just been commissioned by Mr. President, is but part of a unique blend of aspirations which took root exactly 30 years ago. The idea of the benchers complex was mooted in 1992 when Shibankale Oki, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was chairman of the body of benchers. And immediately a building committee comprising Honorable Justice L.M. Ways, GCON, past Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mr. B.A. Gironke, SAN, Mrs. H.A. Balogun, ON, and Chief Debo Akande, SAN, was constituted to map out modalities for the concretization of the idea. Following the President, then President Umaru Yar'Adua's approval of the application of the body for a parcel of land at the institution and the South District Jabi, Abuja, the turning of the sword and groundbreaking ceremony was performed exactly on 28 November 2008. Construction work commenced in earnest, and the ultimate result is this magnificent and befitting project. So much time, talents, and treasures have been invested into this edifice. And when I recall the very stretch of sacrifices made to the realization of this unique facility, which is a national monument, my reaction is best captured in the words of the world-acclaimed bard, William Shakespeare, when he said, "I can no other answer make but thanks, and thanks, and ever thanks." This benchers complex, Mr. President, consists of a 3,000 seating capacity auditorium, a 240 seating capacity meeting room, a 1,000 seating capacity banquet hall, a 1,000 capacity multipurpose hall, committee meeting room, offices for secretarial staff, library, and a courtroom for the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, amongst others. I say, to God be the glory. This complex is a vigorous expression of the foresightedness of a tripod, that is, the founding fathers, 16 of them in number. One of them is still alive, but he cannot make it here today. Our passionate leaders and peerless members through the years, a good number of them are seated in the front row. I pay my respect to all of you, my predecessors in office. And the peerless members through the years. May I state, most modestly, that this body parades the elders of our nation's legal profession. It is an amalgam of the critical stakeholders of the nation's polity, comprising, as it were, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the bar. Let me illustrate, Mr. President. On this august body, we have as members the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Lord Justices of the Supreme Court, the President of the Court of Appeal and all the presiding justices of the Court of Appeal in the various divisions, all the Chief Judges of the High Courts in Nigeria, the Attorney General of the Federation who is seated, and all the Attorneys General of the states, a good number of them are here. The Chief Judges of the Federal High Court is seated somewhere there. The Chief Judges of the Federal of the state, they are all around, they are all available. The chairmen of the judicial committees in both the chambers of the National Assembly, they are present here. Light benchers, they are seated in the front row there, light benchers who are drawn from both the bar and the bench, all past Chief Justices of Nigeria. Mr. President, two of them are here with us. Our father, our leader, the Honorable Justice Alpha Begore, Mahmoud Mohammed, they are all seated. They serve this nation well. We are proud of them. And they always come for our meetings. They are so tenacious, they are so devoted. Their fidelity cannot be questioned. They are our leaders. They are seated here, my Lord, and they are still part and parcel of the body of benchers. Members of the President of the Nigerian Bar Association and representatives of the bar. Mr. President, sir, this unique occasion affords me a golden privilege to reiterate our earlier calls for a more virile and independent judiciary. There is no gainsaying the fact that our Constitution thrives on the doctrine of separation of powers, ably propounded by the French political philosopher Baron de Montesquieu since 1748. Mr. President, we will recall that during the body of benchers meeting with Your Excellency on 28 July 2022, I stated that following pressing and incessant complaints of poor conditions of service by judicial officers across the country, the body of benchers was compelled to set up a standing committee known as the Body of Benchers Judiciary Advisory Committee. The fundamental function of this committee is to constantly interface with members of the bench in order to take their concerns and frustrations up with the appropriate authorities. Also critical to its mandate is the task of comparing packages made available to judicial officers in other jurisdictions. Mr. President, sir, may I publicly commend Mr. President's immediate response to our plea on behalf of the judiciary on 28 July 2022. More particularly, Mr. President's apt response to my address when Your Excellency enforced thus that a democratic government like the one we operate, standing on a tripod comprising the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, cannot stand where one of its three pillars, that is the judiciary, is not properly nurtured, maintained, and sustained to deliver on its very pivotal constitutional duties. Mr. President further promised and directed that in the interim, the report and recommendations of the 2018 Committee on the Review of the Judicial Salaries and Conditions of Service will be implemented. We eagerly anticipate the implementation of the said directive. Meanwhile, the body of benchers has formally engaged the services of a leading consulting firm to undertake a peer review of the conditions of service of our judicial officers against what obtained in some other jurisdictions globally. When their report and recommendations are submitted, we will make same available to Mr. President and other stakeholders with a plea that the anticipated recommendations should, among other compelling factors, be used for a more enduring package for judicial officers across the country. It behoves me at this juncture to congratulate all members of the body of benchers on this very auspicious occasion. The completion of this project is a manifestation of our consistent and collective efforts over the years. In particular, may I, on behalf of all of us, publicly appreciate and commend members of the building committee, and I name them: Mrs. Hairat Balogun, OON, the chairman; Honorable Justice Umaru Abdullahi, CON; Alhaji Bashir Dalhatu Poman, chairman of the body of benchers; Honorable Justice J.O. Ogebe,
of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President, I wish to express my profound joy to be here today. to witness and be part of the commissioning of this body of benchers complex, which is a magnificent structure befitting the body of benchers, which is the body with the highest distinction in the legal profession. As a member of this body, indeed a live bencher, I'm aware of the efforts made by present and past chairmen of the body of benchers to see to the realization of this project. And I'm excited that what started several years ago has today become a reality. I commend sincerely the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, as well as the body of benchers for this laudable project. The realization of this dream is indeed a big boost to the entire legal profession in Nigeria. The monument will no doubt change the landscape and ease the call to bar ceremonies and other very important activities of the body of benchers, and indeed that of the entire legal profession. Our expectation, therefore, is very high that this gigantic edifice will be put to good use. No doubt, with the complex of this project and the completion of same, the challenges faced in time past in securing a befitting venue for the call to bar ceremonies will become a thing of the past. I therefore congratulate the body of benchers on this auspicious occasion, and I thank God Almighty for making it possible. I thank you all. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Before proceeding further in these remarks, I consider it an abiding duty for me to extend my congratulations to the very distinguished Honorable Justice Olu Kayode Ariola on his confirmation as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. On behalf of all the stakeholders in the justice sector, I wish your Lordship wisdom and the enduring will in this national call to the duty of rendering substantial justice for all. I have no doubt that the body of benchers stands to play a critical role in the fulfillment of the onerous mandate of the Chief Judicial Officer of the Federation. Let me be categorical in stating that the significance of today's ceremony transcends the physical commissioning ceremony of this unique edifice. This event further engraves the august body of benchers in our consciousness as legal practitioners. It equally serves as a mark of our common commitment to creating an enabling environment for the advancement of the cause of administration of justice and entrenchment of the rule of law in Nigeria. It is equally pertinent for me to strongly congratulate the past and present leadership of the body of benchers on the critical attainment of commencing and completing this noble addition to the infrastructural landscape of the nation's capital. I implore the management of the body of benchers to ensure that this edifice receive due and prompt maintenance services, while also expressing the confidence that the resources in the complex will contribute greatly to the development of legal education and sustenance of ethical standards in the legal profession. I consider it much in order for me to wholeheartedly commend the efforts and dedication of the body of benchers over the years in playing its fundamental role of admittance of fit and proper persons into the profession, as well as ensuring that the profession purges itself from the cancerous effect of charlatan and misfits. As we continue to witness issues and developments that challenges the integrity of the legal profession, the body of benchers as a critical gatekeeper and conscience of the legal profession must be awakened to the reality of the honors offered us to sustain higher moral and ethical standards in the profession. Your Excellency, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to lower the bar in terms of good character and sound learning if we must retain public confidence. I have implicit confidence in the present leadership of the body of benchers that it will pursue the path of asserting professionalism with full vigor. I look forward to working with you on your proposed reform measures aimed at holistically reinvigorating the legal profession. The body of benchers also needs to up its ante as a veritable bridge between the bar and the bench in the overall interest of the profession. As legal practitioners, we must also realize that our practice as advocates and solicitors bear great impact on our nation and must therefore strive for the best always to sustain the legacies of the past while charting an assured future. I wish to recall that one of the major issues that featured during the recent visit of the leadership of the body of benchers to President Muhammadu Buhari is the issue of improvement in the remuneration and welfare of our judicial officers. I can confirm to you from my recent engagements with His Excellency the President that the President has indeed set in motion the process to attain the desired improvements despite the acute revenue challenges. I wish to reiterate the fact that the President accepted to commission this building is indeed a further demonstration of his love for the legal profession and matters that will strengthen the rule of law. This is further re-established by the fact that the facility and indeed the land on which this edifice has been put in place was indeed provided by the government, in addition and over the periodic support being provided towards the realization of this project. Again, I congratulate every individual and corporate entities that have contributed in no small measures to the realization of this magnificent complex, a symbol of hope and justice. God bless you all and bless our dear nation, Nigeria. Thank you.
Chairman and members of the body of benchers, our royal fathers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by expressing my pleasure to this distinguished body for its initiative in coming up with this fine building and for inviting me to formally do the commissioning. This is a major achievement for the body of benchers, as this structure serves to boost infrastructural development of the legal profession. I commend the efforts of the entire body of benchers for being able to deliver this project, which I have been told was embarked on in 2008 and has only now been fully completed. From the information available to me, meetings of the body of benchers were hitherto held at the Supreme Court premises, both in Lagos and Abuja. Now the body has its own beautiful complex, which will serve for its meetings, seminars, conferences, and also bring some revenue to its coffers. I am aware that the body of benchers is responsible for the formal call to bar of persons seeking to become legal practitioners, as well as ensuring the highest standard of discipline within the profession. I consider this body as critical to the legal profession. I say this because the membership of the body cuts across all facets of government and the legal profession, particularly the executive, legislature, judiciary, and the bar. Furthermore, all justices of the Supreme Court, retired Chief Justices of Nigeria, who are alive, President of the Court of Appeal, and presiding justices, Chief Judges of the High Courts, the Federal and State Attorney Generals, Chairmen of the Judiciary Committees in the two houses of the National Assembly, leading members of the bar, and others constitute this body. I am unaware of any other institution or organ in the legal profession that draws its membership from all segments of the profession like the body of benchers. No wonder the statute describes it as consisting of men of the highest distinction in the legal profession. As I have always maintained, adherence to the rule of law is critical to the progress of any society, and this administration has not relented in its commitment to this ideal. Efforts by a body as this, with over 5 decades of proven track record, to keep the wheel of justice turning effectively in providing solid foundation for upholding the rule of law are commendable. I recall that on the 28th of July, 2022, when I played host to the leadership of the body of benchers, its chairman, Chief Ole Olanipekun San, was very emphatic in making a case for the welfare of judicial officers in the country. I am not unaware of the passion and commitment of Chief Olanipekun in championing the cause of the welfare of judicial officers in Nigeria, as well as the commitment of the body on this matter. May I restate my commitment towards this ideal. In similar vein, I have been intimated of the engagement of consultants by the body through its Judiciary Advisory Committee to, amongst other things, come up with a fair review of the condition of service of judicial officers in Nigeria with other countries and jurisdictions within and outside Africa. I earnestly look forward to the completion of this fair review and the submission of recommendation, as this will assist us to review the welfare packages. A society where justice thrives is one that can be assured of development. For Nigeria to effectively embrace sustainable development, institutions such as the legal profession must remain deeply committed towards promoting good governance. As the 2023 general elections draw near, the significance of the legal profession becomes even more pronounced, considering the vital roles you play in the electioneering process, both at the pre- and post-election stages. I hope you maintain the position of an honest arbiter. Once again, I thank the body of benchers for this opportunity to identify with it on this auspicious occasion of the commission of this beautiful edifice. Thank you all for your attention, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
For updates.